You cannot develop lightness of character while being angry. There's an obesity epidemic in America today, and I would say the vast majority of the people in the US are angry individuals. So in this Mindset Monday, we're going to be healing anger. I'm Drew Canoli. It's another Mindset Monday. Remember, we're in this together, and let's get started. To eradicate anger, we must first understand where it's coming from. All anger comes from the perceived thought or the actual loss of something. So if you feel like you're going to lose something, or you have lost something, oftentimes we get angry. The ego has itself wrapped up in material things, and those material things are taken away, it perceives it as an attack. So somebody steals your stereo. You look where it used to be, and you have a weepathon at night because you really miss the stereo. Your ego's under attack. You're enraged that the stereo is missing. A good example in my own life of this is about 5 years ago. I was an entrepreneur running a company. Decided every Friday to take my employees out to lunch. Well, I took my employees out to lunch. A couple of them didn't have a car that day, so I actually gave them a ride to this Thai food restaurant. We had an amazing conversation. It was awesome. You know, we really got to connect on a very interpersonal level. I felt real good about the way things were going with the company. And then we returned to work. Well, the very next day, I'm on my way into the gym, and I go in the back seat and I go to reach for my iPod. And it wasn't there. It was missing. And I thought about it, and I'm like, who was sitting in my back seat? Well, it was the employees. So real quick, I became enraged. I was upset. Who could have took my iPod? Really, really upset. And I called one of my mentors about this, and he said, Drew, he said, the iPod really never was yours. And maybe one of those employees needed it more than you. And that kind of stuck with me. And actually, most people get upset at the thought of loss, even though loss never really happens. A good example of growth in my own life is I was driving, and at the time I didn't have insurance. I just moved down to Florida. It was a long time ago. I was riding dirty.
They see me rolling, they hating, patrolling and trying to catch me riding dirty, 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 trying to catch me riding dirty. My music's so loud.
Not like that. But anyway, it dented the front end of my car, and I knew I had a choice to make. That choice was to get upset about it or simply just let it be and recognize that the more I could bring myself back into the state of flow or in alignment, then it would pass. And that's exactly what happened. The very next day I went into work. I didn't have insurance. I knew it was going to cost me something to get this car fixed. And the very first phone call of the day, I remember it vividly, like it was yesterday, was this client. And I asked him what he did for a living, and he said, you know, he's like, I own a body shop. And it was amazing. So recognizing that when you stay in flow, when you stay in this optimistic state, whatever happens to you in your life, it could be for a reason, there will always be something that comes in and takes care of you in that very moment. And that's exactly what happened in my own life. Now, I'm not encouraging anyone to drive dirty, but I am encouraging you to start looking at things as reasons and not necessarily getting angry about it. It has a great quote. He says, anger is like a hot rock. If you hold on to this rock, you're the only person that's going to get burnt. It doesn't burn the other person that you're upset with. It only can burn you. People become imprisoned by their own ego, and that's what it is. All anger stems from the loss of something. It's a security issue. So the next time somebody says, I'm angry or I'm upset with you, it is really, you have caused me loss of something. And that can be a physical loss, it can be a mental loss, it can be a loss in relationship, it can be a loss financially. So the ego's way of dealing with it is to get upset. If you feel you must absolutely talk it out with your loved one or the person that's really angry, simply say, I understand you're angry and you're upset with me, but I don't understand why you think I should be responsible for your reactions. And then you could simply say, I understand you're angry and upset. Why don't you explain to me what you feel like you've lost? All anger comes from a perceived loss. All loss is a security issue. All security issues are manifestations of the ego. Understand that, and all anger disappears unto the native nothingness to whence it was born. So the purpose of this video, you know, a lot of the times I talk about mindset and how it relates to identity, your identity. If you're the type of person that's been angry your whole entire life, or maybe it's just been for a year or two and you find yourself getting angry and over again for no particular reason, and you're not manifesting the physical body that you really want, it could be because on the very molecular level, every cell in your body is upset. It's in an angry state. Now, if we take it up to what I was talking about a little bit earlier, all anger is a form of loss. It's a manifestation of the ego. Well, if on the individual cellular level, every single one of your cells is upset and angry, and that's the kind of the mantra that you go around with, if it feels like it's constantly in a state of loss, what does it want to do? It wants to hoard everything. It wants to store it. So if you're angry and you're storing body fat, that's exactly what this is. So I encourage you to let it all go. Like I said, anger only hurts you. So squash it before it starts. Take a survey. What are you really angry about? I mean, we're living in the greatest time that's ever been given. I mean, think about the technological advances that we have today. How gifted you have been. And maybe it starts with recognizing your gifts. Start going over them every single day. In the morning I wake up, 5-10 minutes. I get grateful for every single thing. I list it out in my mind. Before I go to bed, I do the same thing. When I do that, I raise my frequency up to a level to where I'm not manifesting people into my experience that are angry. If somebody's angry, I'll cut them off. I mean, I don't have time for people to be angry in my experience. I have time to coach you, FitLifer. I have time to help you where you are, but I'm not the vessel that's doing it. You have to make the decision to move forward and actually make it happen. So, again, this is another Mindset Monday. If you got anything out of this video whatsoever, give it a big old thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Share it with somebody who's angry and you want to put a smile on their face. And remember, we're in this together. I'm Drew Canoli. See you next time.
Twin steady twisting like hit this dough. Pull up right behind and it's in his throat.